Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about climate. Yesterday was the last day of meteorological winter, and this is my end of winter climate report. Greta was in Bristol, England, where I used to work, 2 days ago. Bundled up to protect herself from the cold, she announced that the world is on fire. And then she scurried off to a fossil fuel-powered vehicle in a fossil fuel-powered venue to warm up. And at the same time, BBC Scotland was running this video. It feels like winter will never be over, but here I'm at in my freezing flat, asking myself, why do I live in this country? These are not images I would expect to see from a world that's on fire. 20 years ago, the UK Independent announced that snowfalls are now just a thing of the past. And today, according to the Finnish Meteorological Institute, the total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere is near a record high. According to Rutgers University, autumn snow extent in the Northern Hemisphere has been increasing for the last 50 years to record highs. This is due to the freeze line moving further south, closer to the equator. Arctic air is penetrating further and further south, causing snow extent to increase. And it's the same story with winter snow extent. The prediction from March 2000 in the Independent was based on expert research from Dr. David Viner at the University of East Anglia. He said that children just aren't going to know what snow is. Meanwhile, Turkey, Syria, Iran, and Iraq are digging themselves out from 20-foot deep snow. For making this brilliant prediction, Dr. David Viner is now a bigwig at the Climatic Research Unit in England. Meanwhile, in the Arctic, ice extent is increasing. It's the highest it's been in many years, and it's in the normal range. According to this map from the National Snow and Ice Data Center, the ice edge is very close to the 1981 to 2010 median edge. In other words, ice extent is completely normal. In January, Greenland set their all-time cold record, getting down to almost minus 87 degrees Fahrenheit. And Alaska is having one of their coldest years on record. The press is reporting the normal ice extent, record cold, and record snow as the hottest January on record. These reporters are warm and comfy in their fossil fuel-powered offices. In 2008, experts predicted that the Arctic was going to be ice-free that summer. They also predicted that the Arctic was going to be ice-free in 2012. They predicted the Arctic would be ice-free by 2013, and in the end it was going to just melt away quite suddenly. The Sierra Club was certain the Arctic was going to be ice-free in 2013. And the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize winner predicted the Arctic was going to be ice-free by 2014. Other experts were more conservative and predicted the Arctic wouldn't be ice-free until 2015. NASA's James Hansen was more conservative and said the Arctic might not be ice-free until at least 2018. And congressional Democrats said he was a climate prophet. And here we are in the year 2020 with ice extent completely normal, and snow volume near a record high. But pay no attention to what you see with your own eyes, because a 17-year-old who doesn't attend school says the world is on fire. It wasn't always like this, though. When Stonehenge was built, the Arctic was ice-free. And trees grew all the way to the edge of the Arctic Ocean. CO2 levels at the time were much lower than they are now. But climate alarmists choose to ignore 6,000 years of history. Instead, they focus on a decline in sea ice which occurred from about 1988 until 2007. They believe that 20 years of Arctic sea ice behavior is due to carbon dioxide, while ignoring 6,000 years of carbon dioxide and ice history. This Photoshop picture of Greta is bragging about her shutting down the Bristol city center. But it's good to know that all the protesters had fossil fuel-powered venues to go warm up in after their climate strike. We wouldn't want these little darlings to have to suffer without the fossil fuels which they say they want to get rid of. About 20 years ago, I did have a warming emergency in the Bristol city center. I ordered the Vindaloo at the Brunel Raj restaurant in Clifton Village. It was so hot I couldn't even get down 1 teaspoonful of the Vindaloo. And I learned my lesson that just because I grew up in New Mexico didn't mean I could handle the hottest food from India. For a few minutes there during that winter 20 years ago, it did feel like the hottest weather on record. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science and propaganda for a long time.